Okay, welcome everybody to the
Oh,
Bylaws Subcommittee meeting for the NCAC October 3rd, 2025. I'm Nancy Vandell, Chair, and I have no conflicts. Could the subcommittee members introduce themselves, please?
Michael Beachley, I have no conflicts.
Wyatt
Susan Schom
Angelo, no conflicts.
Susan Schomburg, no conflicts.
Tom Sharp, no conflicts.
Okay, thank you. I'm going to go ahead and share the agenda. I hope. This is it. Okay, so we have no minutes because as acting minutes taker and acting secretary in terms of getting videos put on the website, I have been remiss. I noticed when I redid the training that was my job. So I have a whole bunch of videos to upload to the website. And so Michael had nothing to be able to write minutes from.
Well, actually,
So,
yeah, it's the note that you sent out last week was really quite fine, and it was really covered everything. I mean, that's all we did. So we've got it all anyway. But I'll write him up. I'll write him.
yeah, okay. Well, thank you, Michael, for understanding. Susan, maybe you could mute. I think you've got some background, maybe.
Okay, yes, I will.
Thank you. In LAX. Okay, so we'll do a really simple one for next time. I'm going to learn how to do this after I leave Bodega Bay. So sometime during this coming week, I'm going to upload a whole bunch of minutes. I mean, of videos. So chairperson's report. I'm going to start with, we need a new NCAC chair. Mark is needed to resign due to family reasons, mainly concerning his mother's health. And his resignation is official on October 31st. So Alex is going to be taking over at that point until we can find a chair. That Alex feels like he's not ready to take on the position fully. So please think about possibilities. And Susan, you're kind of also in the driver's seat on your outreach task force. So maybe you and I can talk offline about that too. I have some thoughts, but we don't have people clamoring. And then the other area is secretary, and we are in pretty desperate need. We were finding out, I mean, we knew how much Gary and Jeff before Gary were doing, but they we're finding out firsthand how much they were doing, and it's a lot. So anyway, we would really like to find a secretary too. So please give it some thought. And I know the board members, including me, would be happy to help with take some of those responsibilities away. And we had tried to create that. Our subcommittee tried to create that through the amended bylaws and policies and procedures to break up that job. So there are official duties that could happen that are small ones, like getting minutes up or videos uploaded. But I think that'll be easy once I figure it out.
I'll
So
be glad to take over those minutes, taking of the minutes at our meetings if you want me to take up a piece.
okay, well, thank you, Michael. Yeah, I'm going to go back and do there weren't that many meetings while the summer was happening, but just the board meetings. And I'm going to keep them really simple and try to have like a model for someone who might be concerned about how much time that would take. But thank you. Going forward, that would be great. So the other area is the FEMA meeting, or FEMA stuff that came up very, very suddenly. I'm not quite sure why it was so sudden, but Sarah Absher notified us just, gosh, I guess it's been about a week and a half ago that FEMA was holding these public input sessions with deadlines of October 6th for written input, and last September was it Wednesday? It's getting blurry. It was last Wednesday evening for a public comment meeting. It was run by FEMA and it was specifically for Tillamook County. So they had come out with their draft proposals, and it was very similar to what they'd come out with before. It didn't seem like we could see anything that was different in terms of the just egregious, very difficult, if not impossible, requirements of Tillamook County and what is it, 31 other counties in Oregon that would have to be bound by these requirements to do a lot of work to show no net loss in environmental requirements, specifically pertaining to endangered wildlife species and fish like salmon. But a lot of the things Muskegon and Tillamook County have already been doing. So we had an urgent board meeting to discuss a letter. Luckily this information had come in right before our regular board meeting, and so we were able to establish setting up, having Mark give a letter and have that letter formally set up by setting up an urgent board meeting. So the urgent board meeting happened Monday night, and Tuesday night was the FEMA meeting. And so we did get everything unanimously approved by the board. So Guy Sievert, Tom, and I were set up to write that letter, which we did. Sarah seemed to like it. And I think, considering the limited amount of time and the amount of knowledge that at least I had to learn, I don't know about you, Tom. We relied a lot on Guy too with his experience, but it took a lot of time and brain energy to try to figure out even what to write in a coherent way. And I'm pretty proud of it. I think the letter actually turned out pretty well. So I don't know. Tom, what do you think?
Well, my impression of the FEMA was that they said the same thing, except less tentatively. It was more absolute.
Yeah.
So it was not a change of position. It was a hardening of his position.
Right.
I think a lot of difficulty was in constructing the letter was trying to figure out what it is we were addressing. And once we got orientation on that, then it was a matter of trying to construct something that was not going to be rejected out of hand. Complaining that it's not fair is not was not a good argument. We had to argue that we were already doing these things, and we have a vested interest in keep on doing these things. And although we didn't say it explicitly, everything else that they're doing is redundant. So
Yeah.
I don't expect to believe us.
I'm not expecting a change either. I'm just going to go in here and post the note, the letter, in case you haven't had a chance to see the final letter. I'll put it in the meeting folder. But so the meeting happened Tuesday night, and it was run by FEMA over Zoom. And Sarah had coordinated having people could attend physically in the port in Tillamook. Did you go to that, Tom?
No, I did carving instead.
Okay, good for you. So I
I
was
did my
on
best.
Zoom and Mark was on Zoom. As it turned out, so first they had a presentation where they went through their plan and explained some of the rationale for it. And then they had opportunities for questions. They had a facilitator that did not work for FEMA, I believe, and then they had FEMA people giving the presentation. And I'm sure it's recorded somewhere. Actually, it's probably on the Tillamook County website. And then they opened it up for questions each time, carefully controlled through chat. And then when they got done with the explanation, they had a general Q&A, and then they had a public comment period. And I was expecting it to go like until 11 or 12 at night. It started at 6, but it ended at 8:30. There were enough comments. Mark did a great job reading the letter. They told us it was a 3-minute time limit, and he was able to go on for a little bit longer than that and keep them from cutting him off, but which I was impressed by. But he was the only CAC chair to comment, as far as he and I could tell. So maybe I was a little surprised. So there were a lot of other people commenting. There were a couple of realtors there about how devastating this was going to be. And quite a few people from Tillamook County staff actually gave some really, really interesting and cogent remarks about the impacts to the county and to the residents. And how, people made the point, like we did, that the people of Tillamook County and Escowan care very much about wildlife and endangered species and have put in millions of dollars into the protecting the environment and these species, and that it's vital for the income of the community to have safe fishes, as well as and we also took a quote out of the community plan talking about environmental things being so important. So that point was made that they're not giving us any credit for that, and they explicitly said that as one of the questions. Answers to the questions was, no, we don't get any credit for anything done in the past or any recognition, really. It's everything is going forward. So and then at the end there was an attorney for there's a lawsuit that was filed that Tillamook County entered into with our NCAC support from last year that has been going on, representing, I think, all the counties affected in Oregon. And that attorney spoke and said that a number of the answers that were given by the FEMA people were incorrect, and she corrected them on what the facts were, which was kind of interesting. So it's worth looking at. I think, particularly the public comment stuff. They made some really good remarks, but I felt like our letter stood up. I mean, we were right there with the key points. I was pretty pleased with how the letter stood up. So, and then at the end, a couple of the FEMA people look like that were going to be some of the decision makers. It sounds like they may be signing. Just sounded like, well, we've done our job. We've gotten public feedback. Make sure you send everything by October 6th. But it didn't sound to me like they were listening. Now, that was just my feeling, but I would be a little surprised, like Tom mentioned, that anything comes out of this in a positive way. So I think the lawsuit may be the key thing. Anyway, instead of reviewing the agenda, I'm going into my report, which I shouldn't be doing. So let me just, Mark doesn't look like he's going to be here. We're going to go into the PP&R action item discussion, and then talk about the October 17th subcommittee meeting, and then the general meeting on October 11th. So any additions to the agenda? Okay, I'll stop sharing, and I will put on the FEMA letter when I have a moment here onto the meeting folder so you guys can see it, but I think it's pretty cool. And so any questions, or Tom, do you want to add anything about, and Michael and Susan were also in the board meeting where all this was discussed also. So if any of you have any discussions, or Wyatt, join in too.
Okay.
My concern, or really fear, was that this was just pro forma. They have to do it, so they did it, and they went through the motions, but they don't care.
Mhm.
Uh,
I agree.
we have not had dialogue. We have had monologue from them.
I completely agree.
So what's the outcome if this meeting has no resolution to it? What's the threat, I guess, to us if FEMA doesn't basically back off?
It could stifle the county. It's going to cost the county a lot of money to try to implement this. The county already doesn't have enough money. It's going to have not less debt. We are going to have things like, if you're not in a floodplain, but your access road is in a floodplain, you could get denied repair of it. We could have people cut off, for instance, South Beach Road, cut off from the rest of the world, and sorry, it could be quite, if implemented as we understand it, would be pretty much of a halt of any development and a reversal of some of the development that's already occurred. That's my opinion. Uh, and
And it's shared
informed,
by
but
everybody.
informed, but not expert.
Yeah, no, it's shared by experts of the county. It's shared by anyone who's directly affected. This could just be, it's already a poor county and they just don't have a lot of resources already. And this would require a lot more staff because there'd be a lot more permitting kinds of things required. Or the alternative is, and as Tom I think has mentioned, I don't know about this morning, but if it could end up being that people lose access to the National Flood Insurance Program.
Oh yeah, that's the big club.
That's
Is
sort of
that,
the big one. Yeah.
that's
Which is why.
that's their punishment, is to deny flood insurance, which is going to put some people who live in the flood areas in a bad place. If floods happen, they're out of luck, and I think FEMA seems to be okay with that.
Yeah, FEMA's fine. So, and as Sarah pointed out there's another video you can see of a presentation that she made to the County Board of Commissioners, that even if your property itself isn't in a floodplain, your roads that you drive on or walk on can be going through that floodplain. And so all of this is affected. We're affected no matter where our personal property resides. So it could be really, really significantly devastating.
Somewhere in the back of my mind, is a piece of information which I'm not sure is currently correct, but my recollection is that the flood insurance fund is bankrupt, and that the only stopgap for that is that Congress, in order to maintain that program, would have to come forward and put up the money for any claims under the National Flood Insurance system. And I don't know if that's still true or not. Do you know anybody?
I believe that's
I
still
don't.
true. I doubt that, and that was sort of my suspicion, that this whole thing is a ploy to get out of the insurance business.
Yeah, that's the way I'm reading it.
Yeah, so they are responding to a lawsuit that was brought by environmental agency or groups. And this was a settlement that was made by FEMA, it sounds like several years ago, actually. And now their feet are being held to the fire. And so this came up a year ago, July, where they sent out their draft recommendations. And we responded back in November. There were a series of meetings. I don't know if you guys remember, but we had an urgent board meeting and an urgent membership meeting just to draft a letter at that point to provide input to Tillamook County, urging them to do whatever they can to fight this, including up to and including litigation, joining in litigation. So, yeah, it's. I don't know if that sure sounds like it could be true. What that even people were saying politically, what's happening with FEMA. Maybe it's a non-issue, and we'll still have flood insurance, but the lawsuit has to be addressed no matter what by the U.S. So I think if FEMA for some reason gets folded into another agency, the feeling is that this lawsuit and the effects of it are still going to continue.
Well, and maybe to me, it's one of those things where it was a convenient situation for the new administration to do exactly what you're talking about, which is to get out of the flood insurance business because, quote, they have to by court order, which doesn't seem to bother the other agencies in the federal system. But I kind of see it as one of those convenient, oh no, don't throw me in that briar patch thing.
Yeah,
And so all of a sudden they've got a nice excuse to get out of the business.
It could be, but I will point out that this all started before the current administration, just to be fair. So, but yeah, so who knows what's behind it, but it's not good. And I assume we'll be getting further updates as we go along, and I think our best hope might be the litigation, although who knows? We'll see. But I was really impressed with that attorney who spoke, and I think it's worth it to. I'll try to find after the meeting. I'll find a link on the Tillamook County website where you can look at the meeting. It really was only 2.5 hours, and the part where the FEMA people went through their presentation, I think, is worth looking at because they did a pretty good job of making it pretty clear compared to maybe some others we've seen. And then I thought there was maybe one set of comments that were a little off, but everything else was very well presented. Did anyone else attend in this group? Okay. I think the only ones I saw even on the list were Mark and me from Nesquin, but there could have been people I didn't recognize. And there were people in the room that weren't listed. But overall, I think it was interesting to hear, and there wasn't a single positive comment, surprisingly, about their plan. So I think that's it. So why don't I'm going to turn it over to you, Tom, to put up in the meeting folder is the newest version of that Tom has done with policies, procedures for 12 procedures 12 and 14. And then I sent you last night work that Michael and I did mainly Michael, on the quorum and the rescission and stuff. So I know that's really new and we can defer that to another meeting, but at least wanted you to see it. Susan had contacted me early on, and her schedule has been just crazy. So I told her just go ahead and wait on her item until the next meeting. And Wyatt sent me early on an OPML draft, and I really want to sit down and chat with Wyatt about it before we go further. So I haven't posted that yet, but it's really good. It's really legal. And I need to. So Wyatt, you did a great job. But,
Yeah, I can't help that. Sorry.
no, it's good. OPML by nature is legal, right? So, anyway, shall we start with the ones that Tom set out yesterday? Or shall we share the schedule first? Let's just start with your stuff, Tom, and then we'll look at the action.
Okay. So the only things that I did was I turned the outlines we had of the procedure. Oh, I should share, shouldn't I? Yes, I should.
Yeah, and the one that was sent in the email, I think, was an older version. Somehow it didn't link correctly. So if you tried to look at it, I didn't see that until this morning, but it looks like it's the old stuff, the original document.
Oh, I apologize. But this is R26. One change I've made is we're adopting in the community
This
plan.
is our.
Yeah, I know. We're adopting in the community plan the concept of it's a working draft. We want people to make sure some individuals have a real concern with calling it a draft because the draft is official. I didn't
Really?
Interesting.
Okay.
I don't think that's true in my world.
Okay.
But, in their world, it's true. So I'll acquiesce to that. We're now calling it a working draft.
All right. So what do you mean it's R26? I thought we were starting with new numbering.
No. Okay. No, R26. Sorry.
You're on the community plan again, aren't you?
B2R2. B2R2.
Okay.
Okay.
Thank you. Okay.
I was still in there. I like this better than that. Anyway,
Yeah.
so procedures 12 and 15. So basically, I took everything out and
and I put this draft in the meeting folder if you guys wanted to grab it. It's in the meeting folder.
A little bit easier to look at it there. Is that too big, too small?
It's fine.
Mm-hmm.
Should I make it not red? I'll make it not red.
No, that's fine.
Is it fine? Okay.
Yeah, sure. I like red.
Swimming in red ink. Okay.
Yes.
I don't believe I lost anything. However, there is some change to one of them, and I'm trying to remember what that was.
Yeah, you took out, and then we had that discussion.
Oh, yes. Okay. It's on the next page.
Yeah.
So this is pretty much as it is, but there's some change to partnerships.
Okay. And what Tom took out didn't really change anything. It just it didn't say we couldn't do it. It just didn't point out that it could be done. So if I'm saying that right, or maybe it was
No,
the
I was thinking
opposite.
of a
I can't
different.
remember now. Okay.
Yeah, there was some explicit permissions
Yeah.
that, yeah, we can still do it, but no
Yeah.
use priming the pump for people to get
Yeah.
sideways with the things. But
Tom and I had one of our fun discussions where I gave on one and he gave on one, and I think the, the end of it was good. So. But yeah, I think you did a really nice job of taking the bullet points and making them. But since people haven't had a chance to really review it, I kind of think with all these things, because we didn't really have a chance to review it, we shouldn't say yay or nay today. I think we can go through it and then come back to it at the next meeting and say yay or nay. And that way, if anyone has any comments on that, they can send them to Tom. The same with the ones that Michael and I did. Did that sound okay to people?
That's
Yeah.
fine. You know, the only thing that pops out to me is the one that always pops out to me, and that is the first sentence, special procedures shall be taken if the request is political. And political in this day and age is a loaded term. And I'm not really quite sure how we would interpret that, except the second clause, which has to do with a candidate or a ballot measure. Um, and I assume that that second clause is an example of what may be political in nature. Is that correct?
no, it's an
Yes.
identifier. It's a definition, not an example.
Well,
Yeah.
then,
Bec-
which may
bec-
be is one clause, but you know, then perhaps that should say which is a candidate or a ballot measure rather than maybe.
All
no,
right,
that's a
fair
good
enough.
point. Yeah, for not
Such as or whatever, you know.
Such as. No,
Yeah,
not such as, because that's only an example.
no,
Which
yeah,
is,
that's an example.
you are correct.
yeah.
Which would be is the let's see, which
Yeah, you might just drop political in nature and say, you
Yeah.
know, request is a
well
candidate running for office or a ballot measure.
um I don't know. Political in nature though has to do with IRS rules around advocating for things, and we're a little different. We're not a nonprofit, but uh organization. We're part of the county, but there are a lot of rules that talk about political in nature, and they're around candidates running for office, and they're around ballot measures, and so and they're different, but they all fall into that where they call it political. So that's why I think that I guess for someone in the NCAC, that's not going to be that critical.
Yeah. Well, let me
Um,
reconsider that.
Well, you understand my,
but
you know,
but
Well,
yeah,
it's a
I think it's
sensitive.
a really good point.
Yeah.
well, I tend to like to use words as they are traditionally used. It is political. And
Yeah,
political isn't a bad term.
you're right, and I'm not arguing that point, Tom. You're absolutely right. What I'm suggesting is that the way the word
Yeah.
political is bantered around these days,
How
just,
how about comprises? Which comprises?
It's a little uglier than what we had, I think.
But I mean, it's inclusive, right? It's not things outside of.
Yeah,
Yeah, it is ugly. I mean,
Okay, I'll work on it.
you can edit
Yeah,
it.
yeah.
Because you're right, Michael. It's a good point that we don't just want to
I
have
don't
it
like
sound
it,
like
but
example.
but I'm willing to acquiesce, so.
But I do
um,
like keeping the word political because I hear you. It's politics these days, but it goes back to IRS codes and things that, yeah,
Oh, so it does have
and
a
rules.
specific, yeah,
It
okay.
does. It
Yeah.
does.
Mhm.
It
Yeah,
has a legal meaning,
it does.
Okay, all right. Yeah.
That
and
that
that's what I was
includes
taking it
those,
as.
which includes
Good.
those two areas, ballot
Mhm.
measures and candidates. So yeah, you, yeah, in terms of what you can and cannot do. And in our case, we can't advocate either way. So it kind of gets out of it. We can't advocate. And so
Yeah.
I think that this says that, but
Yeah.
whereas
And
nonprofits can advocate on behalf of ballot
how,
measure type
how
things
about we
that
change this down here? No voted membership will be taken on a political issue. That way,
sure,
we're out of it.
sure. That's good.
We're going to diffuse political by saying we can't actually do that.
Hmm.
Just
And we defined it up
FYI,
above.
the definition of political, as I pulled it up on Google, which is the be all end all of authorities, it's relating to the government or public affairs of a country. So it's pretty darn inclusive.
Well, yeah,
Yeah.
I don't argue that point. Again, all I'm saying is that any ordinary person off the street who sees the word political, that means controversy, or it means you don't agree
Yeah,
with me, or it means something
yeah,
we argue about, or something of that sort. You see,
yes,
that's
and that's exactly the point.
okay.
In fact,
I have,
this is live electricity. We don't touch it.
okay, so I have a question. I don't mean to play devil's advocate, but would FEMA be considered a political issue?
Yeah.
Yes.
Yes.
Yes,
But aren't we
So
at
then we're
some
advocating.
points?
Yes.
Exactly.
Good point. That's a really good point, Susan.
but the county asked us to do that as
Hmm.
an agent. As an agent, we wouldn't have been able to do that on our own.
Yeah, but
Since the
Tom, it was
county asked us
optional
to do,
for us.
we are an agent of the county.
Yeah, I know they
So,
requested it, but it was an optional for us to do something if we didn't want to.
so I think that's where the examples of a ballot measure or a candidate is very specific about it. I think maybe we need to undo that because this is a political issue and we are advocating.
Mm-hmm.
So maybe we need to add something in there about put back in ballot measures and candidate kinds of things. We're basically doing forums for those, but we should be able to advocate on issues to the county that we care about. That's
Yeah,
kind of
yeah,
part of our role.
yeah.
Okay.
Yeah. I think if we focus on political candidates and ballot measures, we're fine.
Mhm.
But in fact, in my mind, we are already a political organization.
Sort
As
of.
a body of the elected board of commissioners, we're in that system, and that's a political. It's an issue of politics.
Okay.
So if the purpose of that paragraph is to focus on candidates and ballot measures, that's perfectly fine. Then that's really what it should be very clearly
Yeah, I
attached.
think political adds a degree of confusion to it, or at least it opens it up to a broader interpretation, and that I think is dangerous.
Yeah.
I'm coming around to what you're saying.
Yeah.
Special request, yeah, we could just say shall be taken if the request involves a
Yes.
candidate running for office or a ballot measure.
Yep. That's it.
Thank you guys for a great discussion.
What's political or not political today may be well political tomorrow, so.
Yeah, yeah, good point. Good point. You happy with that, Tom?
I'm not completely unhappy.
Okay, then
Yeah, I'm fine with it. I'm fine with
okay,
it.
good.
It's called damned with faint praise, Tom.
Yeah, yeah, yeah.
I consider that kind of a statement from Tom as being a very positive one. That's about as good as we can get.
Well,
That's politically correct of you there, Tom.
it's an art form, you know. I've been contemplating writing a book on faint praise. It's sort of like you really messed up. I want you to know I still respect you, just not that much. Okay.
All right.
Okay. Okay. So here is the actual change.
So can we just say back? Can you say candidates involves candidates running for office?
Yes,
Yeah.
plural. Yeah.
Or ballot measures.
Measures. Yep.
Take out the A.
Drop the A. Yeah.
I like it. Nice letter.
Yeah, I think that's a huge improvement. Thank you, Michael. It took me a while, but
That's why we have discussions.
Yes.
Yeah.
It is. Yes.
Okay.
and we took that back. We put it back of later on, right?
Put what back?
We took out political and put back into ballot measures and candidates, didn't we?
Yes.
Further down. Okay.
Yes.
Thank you.
Controls.
Oh,
view
yes.
is a wonderful
Yes.
thing.
Yes. Great. Thank you. And you've saved this as version 3, right?
This is I don't know which version do
Or
you
maybe
have?
it is. Oh, maybe it is version 2. Okay.
I think it is
Yeah,
R2.
because I think yeah, okay.
R1 is
Yeah.
what meant to go out.
R1 is what we have now on the meeting list.
Okay.
Okay, good.
And I'll save it just in case Word turns up its toes. Okay, are we good with that? Let me know when I can go on.
Oh, candidacies. Wyatt had a thing in the chat. Is it candidacies? Where, Wyatt?
Yeah. We're talking about items rather than persons.
For a candidate. Well, no, it's if the request is for a candidate to speak. In other words, we had the situation where we had somebody wanting to make address. Then if a particular person, it's got to be all or none, or at least invited.
Well,
So
Invited.
I think that's still correct.
Could a candidate for office address the NCAC on a matter that doesn't involve the candidacy, and would they be barred by this?
No,
Or required, or special procedures required if their topic was not about their candidacy?
Oh, I see. You're suggesting adding is if the request is for a candidate to speak at a meeting about their
Yeah, the
candidacy.
Boy Scout troop, whatever.
Yeah. I see what you're saying. Yeah, that's a good point.
candidacy.
Candidacy, yeah.
Yeah.
Or about their campaign or something like that. Yeah, it gets into another gray area, though. I kind of think that
How do you spell that?
if it's someone running for office speaking about something else and they're actively running, I don't know that we should have them coming and speaking. It gives, at all. That's something to think about.
You mean like Mary Faith Bell, or when the commissioners are up for reelection?
Yeah.
And
It should be somebody
they're
who's
speaking.
not running.
Mhm.
Yeah, if they were to come in and speak about a ballot measure, for example, and they're also simultaneously running for office themselves, they should probably have somebody else come to speak about the ballot measure.
So
That's a really
maybe
interesting point, Wyatt.
So maybe we don't want this change.
Yeah, or maybe even add a little bit that, yeah, I kind of think we should leave it. or we reword it. Can you just make a note, maybe in a comment section for us to work on this a little bit, that if the request is for a candidate to speak about anything, a candidate running for office to speak, maybe we put in another little sentence about really anyone who's running for office wouldn't be invited to speak about anything else. But we could have something where we have an officer on the NCAC board who is running for some other elected office
Okay,
coming
so
in to
that,
speak about, let's think about that a little bit.
What about
so
the what
Was
about the
that?
possibility that somebody else wants to speak to us in favor of a particular candidate, not the candidate themselves, but another person wants to use our forum to speak about a
motion,
candidate.
good point.
Mm-hmm. Or their representative.
Yes, yes. Or it doesn't even need to be a representative, just, the issue of speaking for a particular
Or their
candidate
advocate.
or their advocate. Yes. Mhm.
Yeah.
Yeah,
Yeah, I think it needs to include, normally you just have a candidate speak, but
Or their advocate works fine.
yeah.
I
Yeah.
hate parentheses. I'll work on this. But anyway, if you see the note there, that's enough for me to remember to
Okay.
Yeah.
write it.
Thank you. Thank you. We'll leave that in your capable hands, Tom.
My hands anyway. Okay. Anything else?
So we'll send this out again where you guys have a chance to take a look before the next meeting also, because Tom has also left in and crossed out all the original language. So it might be helpful to
Yeah.
just make sure. I thought you did a great job, but and I will admit I like bullet points because that's just how my mind works, but I think you did a nice job with the prose.
Well, I like bullet points. They are a great place to start writing something.
Got it.
Okay. Is that more faint praise? I think it is. Yeah.
I think so. And Susan's muted because she's in LAX, but I can see you laughing, Susan.
Okay. So a big change here is partnership requests. We had a lot of things in there saying that we should, be about finances and equipment. We can't do any of that, according to Sarah. So that's basically a disclaimer. We can't do that. Now, whether or not we should add a sentence saying that we can be a partner, it just doesn't say that now. That was sort of implied. And it could be that I should add something in there. That partnerships are good, but this is what we can't do. I don't know. What are people's thoughts?
No, I think that's fine. And it's probably appropriate that it be there just in case.
Yeah, well, we actually had this come up.
No, is
People
that
would
right?
make you gift us
A number of times, yeah.
Oh, yes.
equipment.
A lot of the
Finances.
reason that this came up was because we had to deal with it, yeah. And Sarah basically came down and said, no, you will not, which is really helpful, actually. So, one
It clarified.
example,
Mhm.
yeah, one example was when the NCA bought equipment to be able to have hybrid meetings and wanted us to own it and to maintain it and to provide it for any organization that might want to use it. And we kind of we thought a lot about that, and we didn't have any policies at the time or
Uh-huh.
procedures on it, and we ultimately just decided that we just didn't have a way to deal with that. So the NCA decided they would just buy it and keep it and operate it, and so that's what's happened. Um, and then Sarah was helpful too, saying, no, you guys aren't really set up for that. Whereas the NCA is a nonprofit organization, the Nesquin Community Association. And another one was when we were asked to promote the work of the Road Warriors, which is a great organization. But again, when we're asking people to donate money, we would have to do some vetting, and basically, again, we and Sarah just said no. We can, because even if we're saying we're just being asked by another organization to promote this, in a sense, we're also putting a stamp of approval on it, and so it just makes it easier to stay out.
In order to avoid possible confusion and certainly some great disagreements about semantics in the future,
Mm-hmm.
are we better off just stating that these as an introduction to that paragraph, it is the purview of Tillamook County to provide whatever equipment or financing the NCAC requires, and therefore the NCAC shall not own or directly own any equipment or finance any activity. If you take out the semicolon between activity and that, you see how it might be misinterpreted.
Yeah, that's a good point. So basically, you're suggesting taking that clause and putting it at the beginning.
Yeah.
Yeah, that sounds good.
And I will
Clean
highlight
that up.
that
Yeah,
and make that an actual.
yeah.
That's lawyer nitpicking, so my apologies in advance.
No, you
do
make a good point. I didn't
Okay,
mean to
so
imply, Wyatt, that I don't appreciate your lawyerly thoughts earlier.
yeah,
I do.
yeah.
It's good.
Okay,
Yeah,
so I'll recast that to emphasize that and maybe add a little bit of an intro.
yeah.
So
The nice
that'll,
thing, as it turned out with these different requests that were coming in to promote various funding things, I think the postmaster was another one that came up, was that there were alternative ways to get the word out, and people did donate, which was nice. It didn't have to come from us. So that's been
yeah,
good.
we can promote. In other words, we can notify people of it.
Well, no, we did not share our email list, and we did not send it out.
No, that's true. That's true.
So that was one of the things we were asked to do, is include it in an email blast with our email list or share our list, and the word that came down was no, we will not be doing that.
Don't need to. Susan knows everybody. She could do it on her own.
Well, that's right. And it turned out, between the Facebook page and the NCA list and different things, the mission was done. It was really good on all these cases. So, and I think things kind of calmed down because of it, but so this is kind of the remnant, is to have it in our procedures. It's almost more of a policy, but I think maybe it belongs in a policy, but whatever.
Yeah, and some of these get a little policy-ish, but I don't want to mess too much with it. I'm not sure that subject to some limitation seems kind of vague.
Where are you?
Right here.
Oh, promotion request. Okay, yeah.
Because I jumped into this promotion because we could promote something, but it says we can provide that.
Could you say that it has to be approved by the executive board
Yes.
and or membership vote? I'm not sure.
Yeah, subject to the approval of the executive board. That sounds better.
Actually,
Although sometimes things come up between an executive board meeting and a membership meeting.
then an urgent executive board meeting could do it if it's actually urgent.
That's really, really urgent.
Okay, so if we limitations and then make that one paragraph.
What was the original stuff with this that was bulletized?
Very verbose.
Okay, but maybe clearer.
Um, well, it's somewhat diffuse. What I did was I concentrated things which were repeated.
Yeah, see, this captures a lot more of what needs to be considered. Yeah.
This is what should be considered.
Mm-hmm.
And that
Which is
seems
why
to
it's a procedure and not a policy. It's
Yeah.
what I think we
Yeah.
lost some stuff here.
We did. Hmm. Okay. Some of this, the appropriate for the membership, controversial. Those are all things that sort of floated up to the top. And so they're covered, but not there. Does that make sense?
Yeah, because it's leading people on a thought process the way it is here in the
Yeah.
old section.
But that's where this is. All of this stuff got, because this was repeated several times. So that floated up to the top. Anything which is repeated, I floated up at
Okay.
appropriate level. So that's the process of taking an outline which has,
Yeah.
these are essentially the same as these.
Okay.
And that makes it, in my opinion, a little easier to read if it's not, you don't get repeated stuff, obviously
Mhm.
repeated stuff.
Mm-hmm. Maybe saying request for email blasts or website postings or something like that can be in there in that first paragraph. Go back up. Special, wait a minute. The executive board shall determine whether a request to the NCAC from an outside party. Maybe we could list somewhere in there the different types of requests so that you're not repeating, but at least you're listing what's being included, like all these
Okay.
different options. Do you see what I'm saying?
Okay, I'll put a note there to do that.
And it may seem
Finish that
like
one.
it's not necessary, but every time, there could be different people involved, and they might think, well, putting something in an email blast or putting something on a website bulletin board or whatever may not be they might not think about it, these things. I don't know. I just remember when our son was in 5th grade and we had our PTA had a games night and the PE teacher led it. And he goes through this list of instructions for these kids from the elementary school. And he went through every single thing that they could not do. Every single thing. I mean, he must have talked for 10 minutes about every single thing they could not do. And we said something to our son and he said, well, yeah, if he didn't list them all, then people would think that they could do it.
Yeah.
And so it's kind of
Anything
the
not-
same thing here.
Along
Anything
those
not-
lines, can I go back to that paragraph on partnerships? And let me be a bit devil's advocate. The first line, in the clause it says, shall not finance any activity. What am I then permitted to spend our money on?
We're not.
We need to add
don't-
in partnerships. Yeah. In terms of a partnership, we need to add in I mean, we're not allowed to directly own any equipment. we're not allowed to finance partnership activities.
Okay, I got it. All right.
So that's a good point, Michael.
Yeah.
And
Yeah.
technically, we're not meant to spend money on a website or email support or
Right.
any of that either. And we're actually
Right.
being illegal about it. We're just not mentioning it. Well, I mean,
Well, we've been told that until the county has the money to give us, we're allowed to do it.
yes, we've been given special dispensation.
Dispensation. I love that word.
And I think that's somewhere else. It's not under partnership request, but somewhere in the policies and procedures, we have noted that we are allowed to raise money for needed operational expenses.
Okay.
So do we have a section in our procedures about it's better to seek forgiveness rather than seek permission?
We do not. That's sort of an unwritten rule, right?
Yeah. I like that one. I like that one.
But we actually did get permission because it came up last year when Sarah, the county's been promising us a certain amount of money for our operational expenses every year, and they just haven't had the budget. They haven't had the funds.
Yeah.
And we said, we need this, and
Yeah.
Sarah said, well, yes, okay, until we have the money, yes,
Yeah.
you guys can do this. And so we built that in somewhere. It's somewhere in this document that we can raise money for our own operational procedure
good
or
point. Yeah.
expenses, but it's different than partnership, giving money to partnership
Yeah.
requests.
I think Tom or Wyatt, the Spanish word for that is discúlpame, por favor. Discúlpame.
Okay. Well, I think this is a good discussion. Very good discussion.
Okay, so about promotion request, we're going to list some specifics. I sort of think it has it there, but I can bulletize them. I'm not against bullets. I just overuse.
Okay. We will let you tackle
Okay,
that.
I'll massage that.
Thank you. And
that
thank you
is
for all
going-
your work on that, because I know it's been challenging. I have a flowchart brain. Yeah.
So I'm not quite sure how to capture this. Okay, what I'm going to do is I'm going to accept this as it is so that you can see what I've changed since you've seen it here, but I'm going to leave the strikeout so you can look at the original. That seem
Great.
reasonable?
Yeah, I think so.
Okay. Hearing no objections.
So wait a minute before you do that. So maybe what you could do is do a R3 so that we can
This is
see the
our-
differences. Because this is R2, right?
This is R2, which you have not seen and don't have.
Right. And so I'm wondering so that we can still see what the changes are in R2, you could make an R3 and save it.
Well, this is a change from R1.
Yeah.
It's still a change of R1. We're just.
Oh, I
massaging
see. Okay. All right. I'm good. Thank you. Getting my R's confused.
So there's some things to be done here, but so this needs to be reworked. And I think that's all that we were concerned about. And that needs to be reworked. Okay.
And then if you guys see anything else, obviously send something to Tom.
Yeah. I'll have a little bit of time before the community plan fires up, so I probably will do this fairly soon.
Yeah, and I since you brought it up, once we're done with procedure 15, maybe you could give us a short update on the community plan stuff too,
I
since you
could.
guys just met.
Yeah, we did. Straw holes. Don't believe that I changed anything here. It was pretty straightforward. I just combined some stuff and loaded it up. And Nancy contributed some very good comments, things that I didn't.
Very little. I think you did a great job. Yeah, Tom reorganized it and did some. Yeah, it looks good. But Michael, you helped. You did a bunch of the writing on this, so we should probably give Michael a chance to take a look at it before we go through it too much. So maybe we can just defer this to the next meeting.
Well, we still got an hour.
Okay.
What else are we gonna do?
Well, speaking of which, I've got to leave about 10:15, so I apologize for that.
Okay, so we
Okay.
have 15 minutes.
So we have some other stuff to do. So based on that, let's defer this if that's okay with you, Tom.
Okay.
We can look at it. Thank you for all your
Yeah,
work on
I
it.
don't mind stopping criticizing my work. Okay.
I think we'll all just love it, but yeah, I thought you did a great job.
Okay.
Okay, so I'm going to defer Tom's giving us an update on community plan until after Wyatt leaves then.
Yeah,
And
because
then
you don't need to know why.
I'm going to
The less I know,
share.
the better, Tom.
I think actually I'm going to go into the rest of the agenda and then I want to go through what Michael and I did very briefly. But for the back on the agenda, stop sharing. I don't want to share. So we have our October meeting, and I know I'm going out of order here, but we have our October 11th meeting, and I'm just planning on giving a very short update that basically says we're working on the new, a few updates showing the list, and that we are hoping to be able to present everything at our December membership meeting for approval and then take the rest of the year off. But I don't know. What do you guys think? Do you think we're going to achieve that, or do you think we should just start aiming for the February meeting? Before you answer, I have gotten at our executive board meeting, we had that discussion and Ran and everybody agreed that, and I guess Guy was there. I guess Ran wasn't even there, but and Tom agreed that the community plan wasn't going to be happening until next year. And so our timing of aiming for December is a good timing. We're not going to be interfering with their work. So that would be fine. But, obviously we can leave it, not say definitely December, but we can say we're aiming for that. And if necessary, we'll do it in February. But how does that sound to people?
We'll get it done.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yep.
Okay. So I'm just
Well,
planning
I
to
should
keep it pretty
mention,
brief.
I should mention though, I don't think I'll be a big impediment, but the first 2 weeks in November, I'll be unavailable.
That's true. Yeah. So
And
I
we
think
do
I'll
have,
just make it I'm gonna leave it a little more nebulous then. I think when I report, I'll just say it'll either be December or February. I don't want to do it in two pieces. I think it'd be easier to just get it all done in one fell swoop because none of this is critical, I don't
yeah,
think. So I'll just say we're working on December. It may slip to February. We'll see how it
I
goes.
think that's probably wise.
Yeah, I mean, for some reason, this fall has just been incredibly busy for me, unusually. So the next year should be really much easier from a lot of perspectives. Okay, so why don't I do that? So it's just gonna be a very short thing. Does that sound okay to everybody? Anything you want me to add in the? Okay, and of course, any of you are welcome to comment as well when we get to that part of the report. Okay, so what else is on the agenda? lost my page here. Here's the agenda. Oh, plans for our October 17th subcommittee meeting. So basically, let me throw up the action item list again. So this is the live one. It is R4. So voting procedure, Michael, do you think you and I could do that in the next couple of weeks?
Don't know why not.
Okay, we'll give that a tentative.
Yeah, sure. Yeah. Mhm.
And NCAC archives. I think we could try drafting something. Tom, what do you think? We'll have
The
to get
problem
Gary
is that
involved.
we, Gary and Sarah are hard to
Busy.
come by.
Yeah. Gary actually, I think, would be happy with this, but I think why don't we do the only reason I'm saying that is that the next meeting would be early November. So maybe we just start thinking about February. What do you I'm
Yeah,
starting to think
I,
that early December is getting to be a little much. So
yeah,
I think we're getting a little rushed. So maybe we defer this until December sometime.
That's
Yeah.
only 50 days away.
Yeah.
50 days of shopping remaining until Christmas. And,
Yeah. And this didn't happen. So
wow.
I'm
Yeah.
Tom, when are you okay, let's just quickly go. When are you going to be immersed in community plan stuff?
Um, our next meeting is the 13th. At that point, we'll be probably in an every other week mode. Unfortunately, that tends to be, I do a lot of stuff for that.
Yeah, you do. I think maybe why don't I just take you off of this one?
Yeah, why don't you take me off of that one? I think that I don't think I can
Yeah.
commit to
So Susan, do you want to work with me on that? Because I mean that really fits with your outreach task force. Okay, I'm seeing you nod.
Yes, sorry, I unmuted.
Okay, so Susan, why don't you and I talk? I think I'm going to put a November. There's a lot in here. And at our next meeting, we're going to be talking about some of the stuff we have for this meeting. So, and then this was, we were going to put for October 17th with you and Wyatt. So yeah, if we're doing November, then, okay. So Susan and Wyatt, do you think you would have time by October 17th to work on recommended qualifications for subcommittee and task force members, which is a brand new procedure?
What do you think, Susan?
I hope so. Yeah, I mean, I know that you've started and sent me some stuff, and now that I'm going to be back or able to actually look at what we've got, that should be reasonable, I would think. How is your schedule?
My schedule's pretty open.
Okay.
And Wyatt and I will promise to have this, you guys. Wyatt did his job. Even though it wasn't even due, Wyatt, you did it.
I'm running scared, Nancy. I just do it when as soon as I know I have to do it.
And then this, okay, so Tom did his, so we're gonna go ahead and do
it. Needs
October
an update,
17th
yeah.
to review it. And then we have this, but I'm going to put October 17th for us to review it more seriously. We can do that here shortly. And then leaves of absence, I can quickly do that. That's a real short one that came up because we thought Michael or Mark might take one. We didn't have it in anything. I'll just put October 17th as a starting point. Okay. So anything else? This sound reasonable? So we're going to go back and review what we have for today on October 17th, and then the new ones would be well, it would be the recommended qualifications for subcommittee and task force members, and then voting procedures. I think that's the only new ones. Is that right? I think so.
Yeah.
I'll try to flesh this out, make it a little more understandable, maybe do a spreadsheet so that it looks better. But I'm not doing anything until I get home on Monday. Okay, does that sound okay? Any comments?
My only concern is that it seems like there are 7 things that we're going to be going over on October 17th. I don't know how extensive it is, but it seems like maybe we need 3 hours instead of 2 based on,
Yeah,
let's see, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7.
yeah, and some of these are really short, like the expansion of quorum and the revisiting decisions. We'll look at them here shortly. They're pretty short, and I don't know. I think they're pretty straightforward. What do you think, Michael?
I think they are. Yeah.
So I think those will be pretty short. Some of these others, the voting procedure could be extensive, so we may have to just give it a quick look. Doesn't mean we have to take a vote. We can just start a discussion. OPML procedures, it'll depend on what we end up with. That could end up having a discussion. And I think hopefully, I think what we do is I'd actually set this meeting to go from 9 to 11:30. So I think you're right, Susan. If people could plan to spend the full 2.5 hours next time, we'll get into the meat of it, particularly with Tom being out the first couple of weeks. And that might even take longer than the first couple of weeks in November, and then we're getting into Thanksgiving. So November may be a month where we're not able to do too much.
The expansion of quorum is going to take some discussion, but the revisiting of decisions I think we can do that pretty quickly.
Right. And by expansion of quorum, it was just really to say what to do if quorum is not met. But when we get into that, Michael was suggesting that we might even want to look at redoing quorum, the numbers. So, so we'll talk about that. And you're right, that could be quite a discussion.
Yeah.
Okay. So I think we have a plan for the next meeting. And yeah, if I see some kind of a hand going up. I don't know whose that is.
That's yours. That's yours.
That's my hand.
It looks like it. Yeah.
How did I do that?
You just gave yourself a thumbs up.
Well, news to me. I have no idea how.
That's
I did
okay.
That.
That's
Right.
okay. I'll send one up too.
I think this
Sure,
thing is monitoring gestures, and you did a gesture. It
Yeah.
took as a thumbs up.
Oh, on the camera. Oh, that's new. Okay. Oh, all righty. Well, I just learned something. That must be a new Zoom feature. I don't remember that ever coming up.
Yep. See it work?
Yeah, look at that. Well, we all just learned something. Sorry. I'm all right. You have to laugh when you can, right? All right. So, okay, people. Wonder if any of that shows up on the screens with the video. We will find out. So, all right. So, now how'd you do that one, Michael? All sorts of new tricks.
Like
Okay,
kids with new
guys, I think we're
toys.
getting. Yeah. Okay, so I'm going to go ahead and bring up what Michael and I did.
I've got to go, folks. I'm going to
Okay,
leave, but I will see you on the 17th. And Susan, I will talk to you earlier.
Sounds good. And Michael and Wyatt, you and I can talk soon
Yep.
too. So thank you. All right. So I think you guys see a share here for some reason. There it is. Okay. I think I can see it. Let me make it bigger. And I want to give Michael a huge thank you for getting this out. Hang on, having problems here. Okay. Trying to, is it readable
yes,
Yep.
on your
Yes.
screens? Okay. Okay, so Michael has suggested the possibility, and I'm going to defer it to the next meeting, that the possibility of changing our quorum numbers. Since we've been having, I assume, Michael, it's because we've been having some trouble reaching quorum. So,
yeah, and very quickly, I think we need to just discuss the possibilities, because as we go along, my thinking was that as fewer and fewer controversial issues arise, fewer and people are going to show up. And so how do we deal with that? That's all. So we can go on from there.
okay, thank you. I'm going to push back a little bit. I know we're going to defer the discussion, but my hope is, and I know you share this, Michael, that as we get off of doing bylaws and community plan and policies and procedures and that kind of thing, and we start having people showing up for speakers and, really
Yeah.
emphasize getting back to the way it used to be, that we have speakers, we'll get more people coming. But yeah, so we'll see. But yeah, but our task was to just look at what do we do if we don't have a quorum, and give some procedures on how to do that. And is it a policy, or is it, I think it's a procedure, isn't it?
Well, it'll be a procedure, not a policy, because the policy comes straight out of Robert's Rules of Order, unless we want to change it. Yeah.
Yeah.
And that's, that's same there. Mhm.
Yeah. So, so basically for quorums that our bylaws say what the quorums are. I don't
Yeah.
think we need to repeat it in there. But basically what they are is 15 members, minimum 15 members at a membership meeting to do business. And then for any other kind of meeting that involves the executive board or a subcommittee, that the quorum is half, at least half the members. So plus one or whatever it is. It's a simple thing. So if you don't have a quorum, it's giving people permission. First of all, the chair should certify a quorum at the beginning of the meeting. If there's not a quorum present, this is kind of why we have this, is they can do really more than one of these, but members may be contacted and asked to attend the meeting, which is what we have been doing. And once a quorum is achieved, the meeting may be called to order. And then, or a decision may be made to postpone the meeting to a later date and time, and that date and time can be set during the meeting. And can may be a word you'd want to change, Tom. I'm not quite sure. Note that notice requirements must be met to be able to hold a subsequent meeting.
Yeah, this is specific to subcommittee meetings, not to the general meeting.
No,
We
it
should
could be
probably-
it could also be to the membership meeting. Right, so we get a membership meeting and we have 14 people and we can't get another
okay.
person.
All right,
And
fair enough.
we
enough.
are allowed to at least set another date with the people there, and the date would have to be 14 days later, a minimum of 14 days later, because that's the notice requirements for a membership meeting. For a subcommittee meeting or an executive board meeting, then the date would be the notice requirements would be 7 days. But we could at least take that action. That would be the only action allowed, to set a new date. Because it's more administrative. And then the meeting may continue as an information only meeting as described in policy
Police
17.
17. Yes.
policy 17 of the FPPR. So that sound clear?
Yeah,
Okay. And then rescissions and reconsiderations. Michael, do you want to go through that?
Yeah, this is straight out of Roberts. I just reworded it myself. A reconsideration is an action that occurs in the same meeting in which a decision was made. And noted that it's simple majority to pass that one. That's straight out of Roberts. However, a rescission is one that happens in a future meeting for something that happened in a prior meeting. And because there is privilege and prerogative involved for members of the body, then it requires a 2/3 vote to pass. And then I put down what actually occurs, what's the effect of that vote, and it really cancels the previous action. The only caveat is if we're involved in some kind of legal action or whatever, such as a signed contract that's already been executed, then that rescission is not permitted. We can go in some other direction if we want to do so, but we can't simply do a rescission.
And then there are a lot of details about this. And
Yeah.
so we added that you can find more information in
There's
Robert's
a
Rules
bunch
of
of
Order,
stuff.
Chapter 37. And
Yeah. And
for
we don't
for
need to go in. I don't
and
think we need to.
35.
Yeah, I don't
But
think
we don't.
Yeah, because it's that's Roberts, and we'll do Roberts itself, and yeah. But this helps membership and people who are doing meetings to recognize that there are two distinct actions that are possible.
Right. I think you did a really good job of summarizing that, Michael.
Yeah.
It's really good, and the rescission thing just has a lot of, because there are a lot of examples on
Yeah.
where it might be 2/3 versus majority, and I think it's good to just stick in 2/3 because really a rescission is something that's done in a future meeting. This came up in Oceanside, and
was it right? Yeah.
it's caused a huge issue in the Oceanside CAC, where they have just come to blows, and it was something that was made about a building height requirement that had been voted on 3 or 4 years ago that never got adopted by the county. They had gotten approval sort of informally, but not formally adopted. And now there was a feeling that it was more restrictive in that decision.
Ooh.
And now there are people claiming that they had a loss from it and a takeaway, and have been trying to rescind it. And I may not be putting all the details in correctly, but it's caused this huge blow up, and so
Well, for me, the distinctions or the purpose for the distinctions between reconsider and rescind are really protecting the rights of the minority, because in a future meeting, if those folks who were not present at the future meeting but were part of the decision making and the arguments of the prior meeting, and they're not there, and all of a sudden somebody says, hey, let's rescind, that really requires 2/3. In other words, to make it substantial rather than just simple majority. Otherwise, you can run roughshod over the system.
Right. The only thing I think we might want to add in here under rescission, Michael, is the notice needs to be given as part of the meeting notice. If there's going to be a rescission motion, you can't just make it in a meeting. Particularly, if it's something important, people need to be able to be there to comment, don't you think?
Well, that's why we require 2/3, so that you can't do it willy-nilly. And so I'm not opposed to that. It's just I think that the 2/3 actually covers that necessity. But I think that's worth a discussion. We can certainly add it there. There's nothing to keep us from doing that. I mean, that's
Yeah, I'm thinking. Let me just say
I like
this
that.
is
Because
like I'm thinking of the Oceanside example.
yeah.
And that's something that, you know, if people didn't know that there was going to be a discussion on something that critical,
Yeah.
and they would have voted differently. Because I think there's also rules in there about once you rescind something, you cannot unrescind it. And I mean, so yeah.
Well, rescissions, yeah. You know, it's once the person's dead, you can't bring them back alive.
Right.
You never do.
Nancy,
It's a
Ro-
good-
I also think back to, I mean, when we had the controversial STR thing, and at one meeting, there was a vote for a moratorium on STRs, but it wasn't on the agenda. And so at the next meeting, they took that back because it hadn't been put on the agenda. I don't know what that would be considered as far as, you know, is that a reconsideration
Ew.
because they didn't follow procedure of having it on the agenda that would be voted on? I mean, there may be other,
Right.
I think that we're running a better, much tighter ship if this wouldn't happen, but I'm just thinking
Yeah.
back to when it did.
Yes. That's a good
Yeah.
point, Susan.
I think I'm in favor of having it required to be on the agenda.
Mhm.
Because if you just do it
Well,
ad
and
hoc,
in the notice too.
in the notice.
Well, okay, I'm not opposed to that, but again, devil's advocate, I think is responsible, and that is in the normal discussion of an issue in any particular meeting that happens already to be on the agenda. Someone raises a question that focuses attention on something that people hadn't even thought about. And it was causing a great deal of difficulty that resulted from a prior decision or a prior policy or a prior action. Are you suggesting then that with this new line that you put in here, that cannot be acted upon in rescission? Even though it is clear to everybody that that was a problem and it's causing a problem? Or would you postpone it to a new meeting then, or a special?
It sounds like an urgent meeting to me. Yeah. If you screwed up, you got to pay the price.
And okay, so any rescission needs to be announced prior.
Yeah.
I don't know. Why don't we think about it, come back, bring it back
Yeah,
to the
let's
next one?
let's
Or we
discuss that.
could,
Because it
maybe
could
we
be a
say,
simple thing. It could be just a simple thing, you know. Oops, that was a mistake. Well, let's rescind that. It does, you know, we haven't signed anything. We haven't done anything. Nobody's, you know, broken ground. So let's rescind. Okay, I understand. But that's a
what
broad.
if we were to say any proposed rescission after 3 months of the decision? So if it's an oopsie, it gets caught and you can change it. But if it's something where someone wants to bring something up from a year later or something, that needs to be noticed.
You can always move to table or to postpone. That's the prerogative of anybody, any assembly.
Yeah, but
So
most
somebody
people
moves
don't know
to
that.
somebody, well, you know, I think that any reasonable leader will make that clear if they're, you know, on top of things. But the point is that if somebody proposes and moves and it's second to rescind something, then anybody else can say, oh, this is an interesting idea. I think we need to discuss this. Let's table this to our next meeting, or let's postpone action.
Postpone, yeah.
Yeah.
Don't ever table, yeah.
Yeah.
Unless
Yeah.
you want to just get rid of it completely.
Right. Well, you can always take it off the table, but you're right, to postpone till to the next meeting or something like that. I mean, that to me would be a reasonable action. But you know, the question of whether or not to put it on an announcement prior to a meeting is a protective device. I understand that, and I'm not against it. It's just, is it necessary? That's all I'm suggesting.
Yeah, let's cogitate on that. And Michael,
Yeah.
maybe you and I
Yeah.
can
Yeah,
figure
let's
out,
go back
maybe
and
we
forth.
don't say it's for any, but yeah, and everybody else too. Let's keep this highlighted and we'll figure
Yeah.
out.
Okay.
Because I think you have a good point. I mean, there may be something pretty trivial, but if it's
Well,
trivial, it could
obvious.
wait till the following meeting, right?
Yeah,
I suppose, yeah.
that's my point.
Mhm.
There would have been had I made it.
Okay.
Sorry
We
about
never
that.
listen to you, Tom.
No, that's all right.
Okay. All right. Well, so otherwise, do these look okay to you guys? And we can have a brief discussion when we come back.
Yeah, okay, looks good.
Okay. Okay.
I will incorporate, if you update that, I'll incorporate that into the new draft.
Yeah, go ahead.
I will. I'll send that to you. Thank you. Okay. I think that's pretty much it. You guys have anything else you wanted to add to our list, or any just general topics here before we break?
Yeah, there's just something entirely different that has come across my lap. Our property is in South Beach, and we pay money to the road district, and they've been paving. And Tom, you probably know that and seen that.
Oh, so well.
Oh, I know it. Yeah, you probably had to do that that detour. Holy moly, up and over the hill
Yeah.
there and everything.
Yeah.
But there are two things that have come up, and the road next to ours or near ours is still uncovered, and it will not be covered by the road district because the folks who own a few of those party houses, STRs, refuse to pay the money to the road district. We're paying it, but we have to drive across the dirt roads as a result of their actions. Secondly, there is at one of the party houses that are next to us, people are starting fires between the buildings. And it's only about 15 feet from our garage, which is basically wooden. And the smoke comes right into our bedrooms. And the lights of that house are shining directly onto our bedrooms, and so on and so forth. And this is something that, I've written complaints to the county time and again when it happens, and I never get any receipts. And what I do hear, though, is that the owner of those STRs is a politician who has lost a number of times, and I won't name any names, but he does, his finger goes up at everybody else, and it's he has a lot of money and he has a lot of power and so on, and people are afraid to deal with him. And that's, I don't know that has anything to do with us, but somehow I see a connection there, and we're just at wit's end trying to figure out what to do about this guy. And so I'm not really sure. And any recommendation you have will help. Susan, you're nodding like you know who I'm talking about. Huh?
Yeah, I know. I think I know who you're talking about.
Yeah,
And I'm so
Yeah.
sorry. Yeah.
Well, yeah, and we're not alone. We're not alone.
Yeah.
There's people all in our neighborhood are going through the same thing, and when that name comes up, they just shake their head.
Mhm.
Geez,
So,
Is
so
there an
who are you? Who
HO?
are you?
Oh, sorry. I was going to ask, are there CCNRs or HOA in your neighborhood, Michael?
No,
I don't know.
no. There might be,
Mm.
but I don't know about them. I shouldn't be.
Well, we're required by our covenants to be a part of the road association,
Yeah,
but road association is limited to the roads. So
okay, yeah.
if it's,
So
if
who have you sent the letters to?
they're in arrears of the thing, but
Yeah.
we don't really have
There's
any.
there's an online form for the county.
I
And,
suggest you send something to Sarah.
okay,
She's in charge of all that.
yeah.
An official letter from your group.
Take pictures,
Yeah.
Mhm.
document it. You have to
Mhm.
document it.
All right.
That's her advice is if you see
Mhm.
violations, document them, and
Mhm.
especially STR, document them and send in to the STR because the
Mhm.
STRs can get their licenses revoked.
Mhm.
Mhm.
So every time there's something bad happens from an STR,
Mhm.
take a picture, document it, send it in.
Okay.
And
All right.
and advise your neighbors to do the same thing.
Yes.
Yeah.
So use the online form, definitely do that, but also see if you can get a group letter signed by the neighborhood. And any attempts that you have had to deal with the owner directly, I think that would help.
Oh, we stopped that because the first time we did that, and actually, honest, Pete, tried to be polite and everything. It just got slammed. Very angry, very insulting.
Well, document that too.
Yeah.
Document that too.
Yep.
Maybe
That's-
make one more attempt. Mhm.
It's so sad to see that. I mean,
Yeah,
because
it is.
historically, I mean, that is not the way Nescoin.
No, no.
It's awful.
I think it's unique. I think it's, it's
Yeah.
an individual person. Yeah.
Yeah, and
Because
I'm pretty sure
everybody I've spoken with has exactly.
I have to go
same
for just a
experience.
moment.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Okay. Yeah.
yeah, I'm almost positive, Michael, I know who you're talking about because I've heard things as well.
Yeah. Yeah. Well, our group is having a meeting Sunday, and we'll
I'm in a
raise all
meeting
of
as
those
well.
issues. Yeah.
Yeah.
Well, thanks for listening.
Yeah, well, I think, bottom line is got to document it all.
Yeah.
Yeah. It's that one.
Okay.
Apparently, I'm the only one here in the house, so someone just came to do some work. Sorry about disappearing here.
Oh, that's
Okay.
okay.
I'm actually in a short-term rental myself right now.
You're in a what? Oh, you are?
Yeah. Whoops. What just happened? Oh, okay. My computer decided it was dormant.
you're-
Okay.
There you
Yeah,
are.
I'm in Bodega Bay at the moment with a
How lovely.
a group
I-
of friends that got together when our kids were like 3 weeks old. So
Well,
and
Bodega
they're
Bay,
35 now.
Bodega Bay was the first place I took my wife on when we first met.
Oh, is that right?
Yep.
Oh,
Yep.
so you know it.
And that night, just to cinch things up, I took her to see um, Dr. Zhivago.
Oh, well, nice play.
Yes.
Yeah, yeah, it was a move. It was a good move, wasn't it?
Oh, man.
And you're still together all these
And we're
years.
still together. Yeah, 57 years.
All right.
Well, on that happy note, I think
Did you want to find out about the community plan?
Yes,
Yes,
please.
thank you.
Yes,
Yes,
please.
yes,
Tom.
yes, do it.
Okay. So I will spare you the details, but I lined out for the subcommittee, what we need to do. I've been getting pressure to have a schedule. There are individuals on the subcommittee who are schedule driven rather than content driven. So I finally acquiesced and came up with at least the number of meetings that we have to have in order to get this document out the door. So internal reviews are pretty much like the internal reviews of the bylaws, not the policies and procedures, but the bylaws. And these are estimates of the number of meetings. And that's 14 meetings for internal review. And there are 7 meetings for external review. And given our history, I think that's overly optimistic. But and then if you count the times required between finalizing and meetings, we're looking at 44 weeks.
Wow.
Wow. How'd
And
that go over?
Hasn't gone over yet.
Oh,
I mean, I've gotten some emails back. Person who was looking for schedule says, "Oh, okay, well, we'll put a schedule around that." Okay.
Are these information sessions for the general membership the same thing as feedback sessions that we had
Yeah,
for
feedback.
bylaws?
Feedback. I couldn't.
Okay.
I had a brain fart. Couldn't remember what there was. Feedback sessions. I'll make that change now. Thank you. But anyway, we're we don't take these in order. The thing with the community directions and community plan policies, those are going to be difficult to go through. The rest of it's fairly trivial.
Yeah.
Hence the
And-
number of sessions.
Yeah. This section 6, there are 37 policies. So
Wow.
getting them in 6 sessions is wildly optimistic.
Yeah.
Uh,
Yeah.
Nancy, you've sat in on meetings. You see how they go.
Uh-huh. I think Susan has too. People. Yeah.
Yes.
Well, having the structure will help.
I hope so. I
And
didn't want this
hopefully
to be a career.
hopefully the technology will be working. That's
Yeah, actually having the meetings will help.
Yeah, I helped get that going yesterday. So
Okay, so anyway, that's basically where we're at. I've, you know, I've lined out, you know, what we need to do when and fairly detailed. If anybody's interested, I can send that to them, but I suspect no one is interested. Although I'd send it to you, Nancy.
yes, I thank you. Yeah, no,
Only
it's
because, you
good.
know, mostly because, well, I guess Susan is in the same boat. You're going to be in the executive committee meeting, making decisions, so.
So will
probably-
Michael. He's the
Michael.
parliamentarian.
Actually.
Yeah, everybody
well,
but Wyatt.
okay. Do you guys want to know? I mean, when I do an FYI, just when I think something might be interesting for you, it's maybe a lot more chaff than wheat. So you let
I
me.
think if you're and I think if you're gonna send it probably to our committee, you might want to send it to the board in general. Because there aren't that many more. It's up to you.
Well, this is a proposal to the subcommittee. They haven't accepted it.
Yeah, no, that's true.
Proposal. So, but this is,
Good
I'm scoping what it looks like to be able to get it out the door. And I
Okay,
think this
I'm
is
gonna
best
mute
case. So,
Did you see her step right into the ocean?
yes, right. Whoa, God. And it looks vaguely reminiscent of Nesquik.
Yes, it does vaguely.
Hey.
Yeah, I'd like to see it first, but you know, when I get into the executive committee and certainly in the general membership committee, I purposely don't take positions. Just kind of stay neutral, and it's easier for me to follow process and procedure as a parliamentarian than not.
I understand.
We had a special meeting last week at the faculty senate, and we had 200 people show up. And this was a confrontation between the faculty and the administration. And you can imagine how delightful that meeting was.
Well, anytime you use the C word there.
Yeah. Well, you know, it had to do with blurring of the lines between administration and faculty, particularly when it comes to curriculum. Curriculum belongs exclusively to a faculty, never to an administration. And yeah, they stepped the line over and didn't include decision making, didn't include the faculty in that process. And boy, all of a sudden, everybody came out of the woodwork. So that was a fascinating, interesting meeting. Somebody came up to me afterwards and said, how do you do that? I mean, you're sitting there and so on. I said, look, as a communications professor, watching people interact is the most entertaining thing in the world, regardless of the context or the issues. It's like George Bernard Shaw said, human beings are the greatest show going.
Oh yeah, I should come on one of my flights.
Yeah. Oh, did you? Oh, yeah. So you're going from LA to Portland?
So I think we're actually done with our meeting. So we
Yeah.
might stop recording some of this.
Well, you're
muted.
muted.
Does Nancy have to stop the recording? I don't know.
Yeah, I
who
do.
has
Sorry,
control.
I'm back now. Sorry about that. Yes, I will stop recording and
We're done anyway.
and
Yeah.
We
thank
are-
you guys for everything.
Yeah. Okay.
Okay.